In a quiet village surrounded by endless golden fields, there lived a farmer named Ragav. From a young age, Ragav believed one simple thing: success depended on the soil beneath his feet. If the rain came on time, he smiled with pride. If the crops grew tall and green, he felt worthy. But if pests attacked or the rain was late, he blamed fate. His happiness rose and fell like the seasons, unpredictable, fragile, and completely dependent on circumstances. For years, this belief shaped his life, until the year everything changed. That summer, the rains did not arrive. The sky remained painfully clear. The ground cracked open under the harsh sun. Dust replaced the scent of fresh earth. Whispers spread through the village. Ragav's land is cursed. Maybe he has lost his touch. Every morning, Ragav walked through his dry fields with a heavy heart. The silence of the land felt louder than any storm. As he stared at the broken soil, a voice echoed inside him. I am a failure. No matter how hard I work, nothing changes. What's the point of trying? At first, these were just thoughts, but the more he repeated them, the more powerful they became. He stopped experimenting with new farming techniques. He avoided going to the market, ashamed to face others. At home, he barely spoke. He sat quietly, staring into empty space. It wasn't just his land that was drying, it was his spirit. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in fading orange, an old traveler passed through the village. He noticed Ragav sitting alone outside his small home, his shoulders slumped in defeat. You look troubled, the traveler said gently. Why do you look defeated before the harvest has even come? Ragav sighed deeply. My fields are dying, he replied. The rain refuses to come. I have no control. The traveler bent down, picked up a handful of dry soil, and let it slowly slip through his fingers. You control less than you think about the land, he said calmly. Ragav nodded bitterly. But you control more than you think about your mind. Ragav frowned. What good is controlling my mind when my crops are failing? He asked. The traveler smiled, not with mockery, but with quiet wisdom. A farmer who cannot master his thoughts, he said, will never truly master his fields. He looked directly into Ragav's eyes. Your land reflects the care of your hands. Your life reflects the care of your thoughts. Then, without another word, the traveler walked away. That night, Ragav could not sleep. The words echoed in his mind. Your life reflects the care of your thoughts. For the first time, he questioned something he had never questioned before. Was the drought truly his greatest enemy? Or was it the storm inside his own mind? The next morning, Ragav woke before sunrise. The world outside looked the same, dry, silent, unforgiving. But something inside him felt different. Before stepping out of his house, he heard the familiar whisper, It's useless. The crops will fail again. Normally, he would have accepted that thought without hesitation. But this time, he paused. What if that's just fear talking? He asked himself quietly. It was a small moment, but it was the beginning of something powerful. As he walked through his fields, he noticed something strange. The cracks in the soil were still there. The sky was still empty. Nothing outside had changed, but his reaction had. Instead of saying, I am a failure, he said, this season is difficult. Instead of thinking, nothing ever works, he thought, what else can I try? He began experimenting again. Small changes at first. He studied new irrigation techniques. He spoke to neighboring farmers instead of isolating himself. He returned to the market, even if only to observe and learn. Slowly, his energy shifted, and with it, his actions shifted, and with his actions, possibilities returned. Weeks passed. The rain eventually came, not heavy, not miraculous, but enough. Enough to save part of the harvest. Enough to prove something important. The drought had not been the only enemy. His defeated thoughts had been just as destructive. Because when he believed he had no control, he stopped taking the actions that were still within his control. The land had been dry, but his mindset had made it barren. Years later, Raghav's farm was known not for being lucky, but for being resilient. There were still bad seasons. There were still storms and unpredictable weather. But Raghav no longer collapsed when things went wrong. He had learned the difference between what he could not control and what he always could. He could not command the rain, but he could command his response. He could not silence the storm in the sky, but he could silence the storm in his mind. And that is the lesson the traveler left behind. Your circumstances shape your challenges, but your thoughts shape your life. Because in the end, the greatest drought is not the one that cracks the soil. It is the one that convinces you to stop trying. And the most powerful harvest is the one you grow inside your own mind. Thanks for watching.